Good, happy Thursday morning, March 12th, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Thursday morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Thursday morning, so let's begin. We're following a few breaking news stories that happened overnight, and we want to catch you up on those breaking news stories. So let's get started with the first breaking news story. President Trump announces all travelers from Europe to the United States will be suspended for 30 days, effective Friday at midnight. So, travel from Europe to U.S. suspended for 30 days, starting on Friday at midnight. NBA to suspend season following tonight's game. The NBA announced that a player on the Utah Jazz has primarily tested positive for COVID-19. The test result was reported shortly prior to the tip-off of tonight's game between Jazz and Oklahoma City Thunder at Chesapeake Energy Arena. At that time, tonight's game was canceled. The affected player was not in the arena. The NBA is suspending gameplay following the conclusion of tonight's schedule of the game until further notice. The NBA will use this to determine the next step for moving forward in regarding to the coronavirus pandemic. So again, NBA to suspend the season following last night's game. And another breaking news story we're following. Tom Hanks, Rita Wilson test positive for coronavirus. Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson have announced that they have tested positive for COVID-19 coronavirus, the first celebrities to go public with the diagnosis. Hanks and Wilson, both 63, revealed the news with a statement on Wednesday. The married couple was in Australia for production of Baz Luhrmann's untitled Elvis Presley movie, in which Hanks is playing Presley iconic manager, Fulton Tom Parker. And our thoughts and prayers are with Tom Hanks and his wife. We hope they get better soon. SNHU suspends in-person classes after spring break. Classes to be held online at least through March 29th. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Monica Hernandez.
It's the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event, the perfect time to get that awesome new Honda you've been dreaming of.
Well, Tom and Jen, this affects roughly 3,000 SNHU students who expected to return to class on campus after spring break and will now take those classes online. SNHU says remote learning will run through at least March 29th, but they are preparing to potentially expand that time frame through the end of the semester. Meanwhile, Dartmouth College is requiring all students, with very few exceptions, to leave campus by this coming Monday, the start of spring break. The college says it intends to hold spring classes on campus, but is monitoring the situation. In Massachusetts, more than a dozen colleges or universities are canceling in-person classes. The University of Maine system also moving all classes online, and so is the University of Vermont. And as for high schools, we have just received word that New Hampshire's Phillips Exeter Academy will delay the start of spring term. It will hold classes online until April 13th. And Monadnock Regional Middle High School will be closed tomorrow as well. A student there was tested for COVID-19 today. Those results still pending tonight. In the newsroom, Monica Hernandez, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Sexual assault charges dropped against former YDC worker. Officials say they faced deadline to turn over evidence, jeopardizing ongoing investigation. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Suzanne Rowntree.
It's the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event. The perfect time to get that awesome new Honda you've been dreaming.
The Attorney General's office took on the cases against 52-year-old Jeffrey Buskey and 50-year-old Stephen Murphy last summer. Both were accused of aggravated felonious sexual assault of a minor in custody of the Youth Development Center between 1997 and 1998.
We commenced that investigation in August of 2019 and determined within a few months that the scope of the investigation was far larger and far more complicated than we had anticipated.
State police joined the investigation, but prosecutor Lisa Wolfson says moving forward with the charges would mean all evidence would have to be turned over to defense lawyers.
We believe would compromise the integrity of that investigation, and as a result, we made the decision to null pros, to dismiss the charges against Mr. Buskey and Mr. Murphy today.
The Joint YDC Task Force will continue with its investigation, which is expected to take months, and if warranted, prosecutors could indict both men again. In a written statement, the alleged victim's lawyer says his client and other alleged survivors trust the legal system to, quote, ensure that all of the perpetrators and those that enabled them are held accountable, and that all of the survivors of decades of rapes, beatings, and torture by the state employees are made whole. Now, officials say that if you or someone you know may have been assaulted or sexually abused by anyone at the YDC, to either call state police or the Attorney General's office. Live in Manchester, Suzanne Rowntree, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Granite State gyms take precaution to protect members. Cleaning and sanitizing has doubled. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Gene Mackin.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The owner of Envy Sports Club in Manchester starts his workout early these days, sanitizing.
I'm the owner of the health club, but the first thing I came in, I said hi to my staff this morning. I grabbed our clipboard, and I was actually here wiping down the treadmills myself. That's what I love to do.
Savino Osceola says an email went out to members encouraging them to come exercise and help keep the club clean. Messages now scroll on cardio machines.
just asking the members to take a little more initiative to make sure that they really use those sanitized stations.
He says more cleaning stations were added, hand washing instructions posted, testing on the pool, where parties are popular, has now doubled.
We now test it every 2 hours to make sure our chlorine levels are correct.
And here's some good advice if you're using yoga mats or the spin bikes. Consider the double wipe down.
I would suggest make sure that you do wipe down the spin bike before and obviously after. Same with our yoga classes. Make sure you wipe down the mats before and after.
And he suggests you consider carrying your own mat to gym classes.
We do offer mats with our classes, and we do sanitize before and after. But that's one thing I would say, to spend a few extra bucks and maybe bring your own yoga mat just to be a little bit extra safe.
Sports club members like Paul Pouliot say keeping up with a workout routine is important.
Keeping your body in shape, your mind, and also your spirit in shape at all times, and that makes you a better total person.
In Manchester, Jean Mackin, WMUR, News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Friday's Battle of Badges hockey game to be played without spectators. Game will be streamed live on WMUR.com and inside the WMUR mobile app. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Charisse Leclerc.
At Tates, customers will find everything they need for a building project. The brand names you trust to perform. And with a fleet of over 50 delivery vehicles, we deliver when and where our customers need them. Tates Building Products. 9 locations throughout New Hampshire and Massachusetts.
The talented players on Team Fire and Team Police will still take the ice just like before. But this year, fans and Chad buddies will be cheering on their favorite players from home.
And we were able to arrange an opportunity for the game to occur and the police and fire to continue their rivalry without exposing significant risk to the public at large.
The decision to nix the crowds mirroring what many colleges are doing at their own sporting events to contain COVID-19. Dartmouth Hitchcock health officials say they're limiting their events to 50 people or fewer. The Battle of the Badges was expected to draw about 6,500 people.
Adding the notion that our families and our children who might have special risk because of the health conditions that they bring only added to the urgency of making the decision appropriately.
And that's why these players take the ice, for the kids, or the players' Chad buddies as they're known.
A lot of us have had the same buddies for, the past 4 or 5 years, and we've grown good relationships with them and their families.
And the fundraising is huge. Chad's goal this year is to raise $285,000. So far, the players have helped raise more than $180,000.
Something that we enjoy and that we love does so much for the kids at the hospital and the families who utilize the funds that are raised from this event.
Now, if you already had tickets to Friday night's game, Chad officials say you can use that at their Battle of the Badges Baseball Classic coming up in July. You can live stream Friday night's game on WMUR.com or watch it on our mobile app. Live in Manchester, I'm Charisse Leclerc, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Dartmouth College requires all students to leave for spring break. Students to leave by Monday, limited expectations. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
And Dartmouth College is requiring all students to leave campus for spring break. The provost says students must leave by Monday with very limited exceptions. The college is also asking people to not travel internationally, and anyone taking a spring break trip must register it online.
I have a bunch of friends who have interim housing, and some of them are international students. They can't go home because they live in China or some CDC level 3 or so.
Dartmouth will also be affected by the Ivy League's decision to cancel all athletic events for the rest of the academic year.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Manchester police hold contest to name new comfort dog. Mayor Joyce Craig revealed her choice. Let's take a listen to that video from WR News 9.
It's the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event. The perfect time to get that awesome new Honda you've been dreaming of.
So here's something to make you smile. It's time to pick a name for Manchester's newest canine.
Well, before the Queen City's new comfort dog can hit the streets, he needs a name. The options have been narrowed down to 5. Amos, Sam, Harry, Rex, and Patch, short for Dispatch.
I do have a personal favorite, which is Patch, after Dispatch. So all of the names are related to Manchester or related to the police department.
Absolutely adorable. To find out how you can cast your vote through March 20th, head over to WMUR.com. I do like the name Patch.
He's a cute dog,
he's
sure.
Adorable.
Yeah.
Very cool. Patch. I like that name as well. Europe markets pose to open lower after Trump restricts European travel to U.S. European markets are expected to open lower Thursday as investors react to President Donald Trump's decision to impose restrictions on European travel to the U.S. to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. State health authorities say they don't have enough tests. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Tonight, frustration growing over testing for the virus here in the U.S. President Trump has said that everyone who needs to be tested can be tested. The vice president promising some 4 million tests by the end of this week. But tonight, ABC's Steve Osunsami at the CDC with a reality check.
This is how they're handling the need for coronavirus tests in Colorado, setting up drive-thrus to get people tested. But they still don't have enough for everyone, and you need a doctor's note to get one. All across the country, state health authorities say they don't have enough tests. The White House is saying that there's plenty.
When people need a test, they can get a test. When the professionals need a test, when they need tests for people, they can get the test.
Over 1 million tests are out, thanks to the diligent work of CDC and HHS. More than 4 million will go out this week.
In Massachusetts, they've declared a state of emergency, and Dr. Todd Ellerin says he believes he has patients there who are sick with the coronavirus, but says he has no way to test them.
Right now, we're really limited, and the demand for testing far outweighs what the state's capacity is.
In China, the WHO says the government there has given out at least 300,000 tests at the epicenter of the outbreak. In South Korea, the government says they've administered more than 200,000 tests. But here in America, roughly 9,000 tests have been administered since the coronavirus first appeared stateside.
New York State is going to take matters into its own hand. We can't just wait anymore. It's compounding the problem.
State health authorities say that part of the problem is also the processing of these tests, that there aren't enough resources, people, or laboratories to process the number of tests that they're expecting to come in.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.